everybody, and welcome to another brand new edition of T Watches a Scary Movie. My name is T, and of course, we are talking scary movies. I appreciate you tuning in for another brand new review. Keep in mind, new episodes go up every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and you can catch that by going to the link tree, which is linktr.ee/T Scary Movie. If you go to the link tree, that's going to get you to my TikTok page for all my funny horror TikToks I put up, at least I think they're funny, to my letterbox for my written reviews, and to the YouTube page for the video versions of the show, and to all your favorite podcasting platforms for the audio-only versions of the show as well, too. Hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with new reviews that I'm putting up, because I typically put up quite a few during the week, not just what goes up Wednesday night. So hit that subscribe button, and if you like what I'm talking, make sure to hit that like button at the end of the video as well, too. So tonight, we are discussing Eve's Bayou. You know, this month I've been going through a lot of black horror movies that kind of hit me for Black History Month, just because there were some that I never got a chance to come around and see, some that I have seen that I want to take a chance, put a little bit of a spotlight on, and Eve's Bayou definitely takes part of that list there. So let's just jump on into things and get started. I want to tell you a little bit of a story first, because I always have a bit of a story with these things. But when I moved back from Australia to the United States in 1998, you know, I specifically remember that the first few films that I got a chance to see once we moved back was LA Confidential, Fallen, Starship Troopers, Jackie Brown, and Eve's Bayou. These were the 5 films, a completely random set of films there that I got to see within like the first month, I want to say, when I moved back to America. And I remember Eve's Bayou standing out like the most probably out of all of those, just because, you know, LA Confidential, that's a great movie. We don't really need to discuss that there. But at least between like Fallen and Starship Troopers, these were typical kind of movies I was already used to. Like Starship Troopers, even though they're not similar in the least bit, to me it was basically aliens. And obviously as I got older, you know, I got the nuances of it, and man, I've seen the shit on Twitter this week about that. If you don't understand Starship Troopers as an adult, I don't know what to say at that point. Because I can admit, as a kid, I didn't pick up the fascism and all that kind of stuff. I just thought, cool, yeah, let's go fight arachnids, bugs, all that. But yeah, I've seen what's going on Twitter with that. But Eve's Bayou, though, I remember that standing out because as a horror movie, and it's not necessarily a straight up like horror film. Like, I would very much compare it to something like a Crimson Peak. Almost, honestly, to where it's a gothic drama that has like these hints of horror in it, but it's very pushed more towards like the drama elements of it, and then like the horrific parts of that. But I think it still really counts. And if you haven't seen this film before, this tells the story of Eve, played by Jenny Smollett, who in her family has the gift of second sight, which allows her to kind of not be a fortune teller, and we'll get to that, but kind of see what's going on in people's head and see, you know, what they're thinking and memories. And it's something that's ran into her family, as her aunt Mozelle, played by Debbie Morgan, has this power and does work as a fortune teller in Louisiana. And it's this family drama that surrounds Eve's family, which includes her aunt Mozelle, but also her younger brother Poe, her older sister, her older sister Cisely, played by Megan Good, her mom, played by Lynn Whitfield, and then her father, played by Samuel L. Jackson. And it kind of talks about a lot of the curses and the trauma that has been placed along this family, to where Lewis, who's a doctor in their town and is definitely like somebody who's out there doing good, unfortunately also has this vice of being a and not a gigolo. Gigolo is not the right word, but I forget the word. Lothario, I think, is the right word for it now. To where he's promiscuous and he's basically, you know, sleeping with everybody in the town. And how the family knows, they're very aware of what Lewis is doing, but it's one of those things to where, based on the trauma that they've been through in their lives, you know, Roz, the mother of the family, is hopeful that at one point Louis will realize things and come back around. But unfortunately, after a party one night where Eve witnesses one of Louis's indiscretions, it kind of sets the family on this collision course with even more tragedy to befall them. And the movie very much surrounds a lot of hoodoo practices and a lot of witchcraft as well too, which of course, you know, we're talking back in like the 1960s when the Creole population in Louisiana, like this is like such a big part, and it still is today, obviously, but it was such a big part the further you go back to where it was normal, and people take hoodoo practices and the witchcraft that surrounds it as the gospel. You know, you have more people who believe in that and who practice that kind of thing than you do, you know, the local Christianity, Catholicism, whatever you want to say. And I remember just being so uncomfortable with this film as a kid because, number one, it does manage to be scary because, you know, when you have that kind of familiar tie in your community to that kind of stuff, hoodoo, witchcraft, whatever, you know, that stuff is real. You know, whether or not you actually believe in it, if that is a big part of your community, that absolutely is real. That makes it come alive. So there isn't a question of somebody trying to pull the wool over your eyes. And what's interesting is that Eve's aunt, Mozelle, really uses her gift for the power of good. She genuinely wants to help people. And as we see multiple times throughout the movie, she doesn't use her gift of second sight to really exploit others. She's there to really offer whatever help she can because Mozelle herself has a bit of a curse upon her as well, too, to where, you know, it has been impossible for her to have a husband because her husband's continually died at a point to where she's been labeled the Black Widow, even though she's not the one committing any murder or anything like that. And after Eve catches her father's indiscretions, we get to see her and her sister Cisely kind of in like a coming of age way start to become young women and the challenges that come through with that, including to where they're stuck in their house. They're literally locked in their house for an entire summer because one of the visions that's told to Roz is that one of the children is going to get hit by a bus. And again, because they believe this is what the community literally puts out there, Roz has to take that seriously. And, you know, when you have two daughters who want to get out and explore the world and, you know, become the young women that they are, that's going to bring up some very, very confused emotions. And then when you start to notice a lot of the things that are going on in the home with all the family members as well, too, that adds another layer to it. And you know, it's one of those things where sometimes that can hit a little bit close to home. And when you see that, especially a movie surrounding Black communities, it's hard not to feed into that. And I remember just having this like pit in my stomach watching it, and it was something that I didn't really want to watch again. And honestly, this is the first time that I've seen Eve's Bayou in at least 20 years at this point. I have not watched this film in about 20 years now. And honestly, it was still a really, really rough watch. It's heartbreaking. It's a heartbreaking story. And even though all these characters, like you look and like they're all striving to do good. Like even Louis, you know, there's a point to where he talks about how, you know, he needs to feel like a hero because there's not a lot else that's driving him, which it's sad and it's unfortunate, but he's honest about that. It really stood out. And the performances in this are just, they're pained and they're nuanced. And it's such a different role, especially for Samuel L. Jackson, who plays Louis, the father of the Batiste family. And it's such a different role that you would ever see him playing. And Lynn Whitfield, who, you know, if you saw a thin line between Love and Hate and a few of the other roles that she had done back in the 90s, always just has this energy to her whenever she's on screen. She doesn't say a word at all. That's a leading lady right there. But it's also crazy to think about this film was done back in 98 and to see both Journey Smollett and Megan Good to where their careers are now and what they have blossomed into with the different kind of roles they've taken over the past 20 years. It really is a very, very stacked cast. And I would be remiss Not to mention our director and writer, Casey Lemons, who, just got done reviewing Vampire's Kiss, Candyman as well, too. Somebody that, I'll be honest, I didn't realize that she had stepped so much behind the camera. And I'm sure at one point I knew that she was behind this film, but it kind of hit me like a bag of bricks seeing this, because she has been in so much that I've been watching and working around lately. So, trying to keep this short here for you. Y'all, this is a film that, depending on maybe some of the things that have happened in your life, it's going to hit a little bit closer to home. And especially, if you fall in the Black community, as I obviously am, it's something that's really going to stand out to you as well, too. So, check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Is this something you had a chance to see back in the day? Is it your first time viewing? And how did it hit you? Did you get the scary elements from it, just from everything that was going on? Because the movie honestly can be on the scary side when you're seeing what's happening to this family. But let me know in the comments, y'all. And again, hit that like button if you like this review. Hit that subscribe button as well, too, because I got more great reviews coming out for y'all this week, and you're not going to want to miss those at all right? So, my name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared. Hey, everybody. Looking for a great way to stay up to date on horror news, as well as read the best of articles on anything scary out in the world right now? Then you need to head over to the Fangoria shop and get yourself a subscription. If you go to shop.fangoria.com/AXDEW, you can use my own personalized 20% discount to save 20% off on Fangoria magazine subscriptions, as well as 20% off any other items in their fantastic shop. This is a great deal. If you've ever been wanting to get yourself a subscription, now is the time to do so. Head to shop.fangoria.com/AXDEW.